as of this point right now, what would you be watching for? Because we've got this messy battle being played out. Is there some general sense? Let's take the Bulls and the Bears in this category. I would assume the Bears are probably have a stronger case right now. Too strong. Again,
well, okay,
I'm
so
sitting here.
There's a lot of bears. There's a lot of different
Right.
gradations of bears, right? I think the Bulls are pretty simple to summarize. They're hodling, HODL, the Bitcoin term for holding. That's kind of how you express being a bull in the very simplest terminology. Now, there's obviously degrees of that as well, and I do think that they may be coming off the sidelines with some old-fashioned U.S. dollars to give a little cash infusion here. That's a big maybe. The Bears, on the other hand, there's the passive bear, which sold their assets
Right.
months ago probably, and will never touch crypto again. And then there's the active bears, the shorters. And I think we talked about some of those shorters the last time that we had a chance to get together. And these are people that are actively betting against it. And what should we be watching for, though? I really do think that it's going to come from an unexpected source. I think there will be a bailout. And by bailout, I mean private money from a private individual or institution.
But not making people whole. What does whole look like?
What would whole look like? It would be paying the interest that was promised to the account holders. In Cameron's letter to Barry, he mentioned 340,000 account holders that they basically owed interest to. And he's claiming that they can't pay that interest because Barry and his companies are kind of sitting on the sideline, or as Cameron put it, in his ivory tower, hoping it's all going to blow over. I think in at least one instance, when looking at the specific conversation about Gemini, Genesis, Grayscale, and Digital Currency Group, making whole would be to pay the interest that is owed to these account holders.
And no response from Silbert as of yet.
Oh, yes, immediately.
Okay. All right. So let's get his point of view as we sum up here. Because we've heard from what Cameron Winklevoss has said. What's been Silbert's response?
So Barry responded immediately, saying that they had in fact responded to a proposal that would have amounted to them getting in the room together a couple of days after Cameron's last account. Cameron did not mention that response. Whether by oversight or intention remains to be seen. We don't even know for sure that there was a response. We kind of have to take Barry's word for it that there was a response. He also says that they haven't missed a single payment and that the next one isn't due until this May. If that were to be the case, that would imply some mismanagement on Gemini's side. If that's not the case, then there's some obfuscation there on Barry's behalf. But what I do think is really interesting is that they all stand to be harmed almost equally if this collapses. The seeming unwillingness to get together in a room as was proposed and instead have this conversation on Twitter indicates something that is not right. I don't know what that is.
It's interesting, and of course we invite people to continue tuning in. We'll continue this conversation, but I do think that moment of getting people in the room and minimizing the losses to one particular company in that case was transformative in retrospect. And so it'll be interesting to see if that opportunity exists. At the moment, it doesn't seem so.
Yeah, it's if I could just put one sort of bookend on that comment there, I think that I indicated that everybody would be harmed equally. What I mean by that is everybody stands to lose their company, right?
Yeah.
Like bankruptcy would remove somebody's pride and joy from their life, maybe forever. What it means to the industry is not equal. If Digital Currency Group were to eventually go bankrupt, it would be the collapse of one of the 2 or 3 largest institutions in crypto right now. Likely up there, I would throw Tether in there, Binance probably, maybe one more. But if Digital Currency Group were to go bankrupt, it would mean a catastrophic moment for one of the biggest institutions in crypto. If Gemini were to go bankrupt, or some of the other companies that we've seen sort of suffer collateral damage as a result of these other dominoes falling, it would, of course, be incredibly harmful to Tyler and Cameron's years of work, and to the maybe to the account holders there, but it would not have the same impact on the industry itself.
Systemic risk.
Always
risk. A danger, and what a way to kick off 2023. Thanks,
there
Michael.
are alternatives out there. I'm so sorry.
There are
alternatives out there, and there is a movement emerging from this for people to custody their own keys, to take their assets off of third parties, and to do it the old-fashioned way. I think maybe a little bit more aligned with what Satoshi had in mind when he put that warning in the Genesis blog.
Who is Chancellor? We shall discover. Thank you.
Thank you.